Now available in paperback and e-readers, John Haynes' Godbreaker. The man who rules the world takes on the Asgardian god of thunder in this action-packed, all-new John Haynes series adventure. Get your copy of John Haynes' Godbreaker in paperback and e-readers at online booksellers everywhere. I'm noticing a troubling trend of independent comic creators not being able to take constructive criticism. Now, I first ran into this when I did my reviews of Concrete Comics, Luna, and Primate, and the publishers got upset because I gave those books bad reviews. And I also noticed recently that YouTuber YoungRippa59 has been alleged on social media to have been looking to go out here and file copyright claims against people who go out here and give his Isom comic negative reviews. Now, this is a troubling trend because it's showing that some of these independent comic creators have extremely thin skin, and as somebody who has been in the independent publishing business for over a decade and has been writing for over 25 years, I can tell all of these individuals that if you have thin skin, you're not going to really be able to make it in this business. And if you want to be a part of the independent publishing world, the first thing you need to do is build up a thick skin. Because when you go out here and publish material, you are opening it up for criticism, and people have that right to make criticisms here in the United States because under the First Amendment, we have the right to freedom of speech and freedom of expression, and that free speech is meant to protect the speech that we don't like so that we can get a counterpoint that will give us perspective. And perspective is something every independent comic creator needs, and whenever you get criticism, you really need to listen to the criticism, because what's happening here is that you're getting feedback from professionals and you're also getting feedback from your customers. And you have to go out here and listen to that feedback. And yes, some people may say things that may hurt your feelings regarding the material you produce, but you have to understand people are only making observations about what you are producing, and they are only expressing their opinions based on what you present to them. Now, over the years, I've had to build up a thick skin. I mean, when I first started publishing again in 2008, I sent out copies of my second novel, The Cassandra Cookbook, out to people, and while some people praised the story, they did tell me that they had issues as related to typos and grammatical errors, and again, this was something that I had to learn from, and they also told me they didn't like me using the word digress so much, and that really upset me to a point. But when I did the relaunch of that book, A Recipe for Success, I took into consideration what they told me, and I erased all the words of digress out of the book, and I made efforts to try to fix much of the spelling and grammatical errors that were all throughout that book. Now, that really takes, again, discipline and character to do, to go out here and listen to your audience, and it's something that you have to learn how to do. Even though you're out here publishing material, you have to go out here and listen to your audience, because oftentimes if they're making criticisms because they care about the material, because people's time is precious, and if somebody goes out here and takes the time to go out here and write or make a negative review, it is not just to go out here and take material to the barbecue, like I oftentimes say. I oftentimes make those kinds of videos because I want to teach people about these mistakes so that they won't make them in the future. That's basically why I go out here and make videos where I go out here and make commentaries about books that I believe that are not of quality, like I did with a Savage Sin book, or I did with other books out here like the Luna and Primate book. It was all about teaching other aspiring comic writers what these mistakes were so that they would not make them in their future material. This was all about trying to teach so that people could learn. Unfortunately, we've got a bumper crop of creators who really don't understand that criticism is not about trying to hurt you personally. No, it's about trying to improve the business of your craft so that you can go out here and be a better writer or a better artist. It's all about trying to help you improve in your craft, because what a lot of new indie comic pros really don't understand is that this is a craft, and as a craft you have to go out here and learn how to get better, and the only way you're going to learn how to improve is if other professionals go out here and make an assessment of your work and help you find the faults that are in that work. Because when you go out here and publish material, it is not all about getting praise. No, criticism is all about trying to help you learn what you did well, and then also what you did wrong, and also helping you see how you can make it better, because you want to continue improving your craft as you're continuing on with your run. And this is very sad that you've got people who can't take criticism. I mean, it's sad that you've got people in this comic book business who are looking to come into this industry, and they're thinking, oh, I've got this independent book, and because I got this indie book and I can go out here and I've published it, it's supposed to be praised. But that's not how it works in the business of publishing. No, in this business of publishing, you have to know how to take criticism, because if you don't know how to take criticism, you're not going to last long in this business. Because if you don't know how to take criticism from people who have a little bit more experience than you do, then you're not going to get very far. No, what you're going to do is go out here and alienate lots of people, because people in the business are going to say, okay, this guy, he can't take criticism. He's extremely thin-skinned, or she's really thin-skinned, and there's no way we can work with this person on a project, because oftentimes projects go through multiple rewrites and character designs go through redesigns, and that's just part of the business, especially when you're working for another company like a Marvel or a DC. When you work for a company like that, you have to do what the editors tell you to do. You don't really have much say over the script. You have some creative control to a point, but it all goes through the editor, and you just have to understand that that's just part of the business. Even when you're working independently, you also are responsible to the audience and accountable to the audience. And if the audience believes that they're not going to get their respect when they go out here and give you criticism, then you're going to wind up alienating your customers, because if you don't listen to the people who are saying bad things about you, you won't be able to make your work better to go out here and win over those readers who can see these faults but don't see you looking to try to improve on those faults. Now, in my career, I've had to deal with criticism, not only about my stories as related to issues with the grammar and punctuation. I also had to deal with issues with covers. I had to deal with issues where people were complaining about the covers because I was using hand-drawn art because I didn't have the money at the time. And as I listened to people complaining about the covers, what I did was look to raise funds to go out here and hire comic artists to go out here and do the covers to improve them. So I'm constantly listening to people as related to whatever issues they're having. And I'm constantly listening because I understand that if I'm looking to serve the customer and give the customer the very best reading experience, then I've got to listen to that customer as they're talking to me. And sometimes they may say something that I don't like, but I have to listen to that customer and show them respect, because it's the customer who's paying for these books at the end of the day. And this is the problem I'm seeing with many of these comic pros who are independent. they're out here just getting in their feelings about the criticism they're receiving. And it's really sad because many of these same people who were doing these books on Indiegogo and Kickstarter, they were the ones on YouTube talking about how these social justice creators can't take criticism. But here we have independent creators also not being able to take criticism, and that is really bad because, again, criticism is all part of the industry, good and bad, and a creator has to accept all sorts of criticism, and we have to go out here and accept it and just move on. We don't, because if you call yourself censoring those who critique you, you really are not looking to learn. You're just looking to go out here and make some fast money. And again, that's not what this business is about, because writing and comics are a craft, and you want to go out here and improve in your craft so that you can get up there and be on the level of legends who have passed, like Neil Adams, George Perez, people like Nick Cardy, and many others. Legendary artists, they had to start out by taking criticism because it was the criticism that helped them to improve to become the legends that they are. Because if they didn't listen to other legends who mentored them and trained them, then these artists would not be legendary, these writers wouldn't be legendary, and this behavior of not being able to take criticism is quite troubling, because it just shows me that these creators, again, are really green, need some seasoning and some guidance from some seasoned professionals, and they need that guidance, because if you can't take criticism where people are using your material to try to explain where you went wrong, then people can't talk to you. And if people can't talk to you, you can't learn anything, because in this business, you need to learn and you need to have an open mind so that you can learn and grow. And this is something that I'm seeing with many of the independent comic creators that is a problem. It's a problem because if you cannot take instruction, then you're not going to be able to learn to become better at your craft and create the best comics for the marketplace. Now, my first full comic, John Haynes at Death's Door, is now available on Lulu.com, and you can pick up a paper copy over on Lulu by clicking the link in the description box. And if you want to pick up my first comic that I did with Bill Walko, Esteem No Good Deed, you can get a paper copy in Esteem Blast from the Past, and you can also get a digital copy for 99 cents on Kindle. And if you want to help me be able to make more comics on the SJS Direct imprint, you can send a donation to the Patreon, the PayPal, or the Cash App by clicking the links in the description box. That's all I have to say for this video. You can comment, rate, and subscribe. Now available on Lulu, John Haynes at Death's Door. The man who rules the world takes on the Greek god of death in this action-packed, all-new John Haynes comic book. Get your copy of the first John Haynes comic at Lulu.com today. Support Black-owned and Black-operated digital broadcast media. www.niceradionetwork.com. Nice Radio Network, broadcasting 24 hours a day, 7 days a week.